Is this the time you could buy Bitcoin big, put a stop loss below here, and perhaps catch the exact bottom in Bitcoin? I mean, Bitcoin support has held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 separate times, and even more if count the individual days. If it were to break down, wouldn't that have happened already? And almost everyone on social media seems convinced we're going lower. And as you know, statistically, the majority of people tend to be wrong. They're most bullish at the exact top and most bearish at the exact bottom. That's why it is the bottom. The last person who might sell has sold. So is this it? You're not the only person thinking about that. I am too. I'm thinking a lot about it. And while I sadly can't predict the future, I can say 3 things in this video. Number 1, what I'm doing. Number 2, what we can conclude based on technical analysis, which has been a tremendously accurate tool to analyze Bitcoin in the past, probably because there is no fundamental valuation. It's only behaviors of buyers and sellers. And technical analysis is not some magic lines or something. It's just a tool to try to uncover what the big players are actually doing, not what they are saying, which tends to be the opposite. They're trying to talk price up if they're selling and talk it down if they're buying. And number 3, we do have at least one fundamental marker for Bitcoin price, and we'll look at that one too. After that, we're also going to go through some altcoins: Ethereum ETH, Binance BNB, Solana SOL, Cardano ADA, XRP formerly known as Ripple, and sell tokens that many of you ask about. I can't advise you specifically what to do because I'm not a financial advisor and I don't know your specific situation. And remember that there is always a risk of losing all your money. So please don't gamble on this casino with money you need. And don't fall for the impersonation scams. I'm not going to message you on Insta or in the comments here with some great investment opportunity. That's a scammer with a similar handle. Disclosure also, I hold Bitcoin and Ethereum exposure, both through company ownership and in my personal capacity as ETP price tracker certificates in ISK through my bank. My company also has some very little sell tokens locked up in bankrupt Celsius. I'm also not here to pitch or sell you anything. My course and the large line process and indicator is not even available for purchase now. We had so many new members in September that I want to make sure that I have time to answer questions from the previous batch before opening any new signups. So I'm not here pitching anything. I'm just trying to be of use to you, that's all. If you want to return the favor, you can press the like, subscribe and bell button. Then there's at least a chance that YouTube will notify you even in this era of recommendation media. It's free and it takes you 3 seconds, 1 for each click. I'll wait. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Alright, parabolas. If we go back in time a little, as we know, Bitcoin has tended to move up in a rapidly accelerating pattern known as a parabola. And then when that breaks, there's often been a significant correction. First time, almost 94%. But of course that was when Bitcoin was new and everything. If we look at the second parabola from 2011 to 2014, when that broke, the retracement topped out at minus 85%. Then a new parabola started from 2015 until the top in late 2017, early 2018. And then another retracement that also became almost 85%, 84% something. And now we reach present time. Drawing these parabolas is not an exact science. There are many ways to draw them. But I think no matter how you draw it now, the one that we're in now, it has been broken. If you were around here, I tended to cut through the wicks. As you know, many times I talk about these wicks as opposed to the candles. At least on the daily time frames, the wicks tend to be less significant. Something happens, but then it immediately reverses. So if we ignore those and try to find as many touch points as possible, we probably come to this parabola. And in that case, it has been conclusively broken. And how big has the retracement been? Has it been 85% or? No, turns out it's only in quotation mark 72%. So from the perspective of the parabolas and the subsequent retracements that tend to follow a break, we are not there yet. How about bottom chart constructions then? If we look at this one from 2011 onwards, you can easily see the ascending triangle here, right? How we got higher lows pressing up against the horizontal boundary, which then broke out. Then it almost retested one time here, held and continued. This is indicating then that people are buying, and when it breaks through the horizontal resistance, the pattern has confirmed. Let's look at the next one. Here there are many bottom patterns. Maybe the clearest one is this one. Here you see another ascending triangle. Doesn't get much clearer than this, does it? Breakout, retest again, almost too nice, and then it continued. Next one, late 2018, early 2019. Another ascending triangle, and then it took off. The only tricky thing here was really the COVID dip. If we then scroll to present day, where is the bottom pattern or the bullish pattern in the chart? It's nowhere to be found here. So based on a chart construction, we're not there yet. How about trend then? Let's check that too. 2010, Larsen line turned up and held gold through the whole parabola. 2012, Larsen line turned up. There was a short fake, but it quickly came back on practically the same price level, held gold, another short fake that quickly reverted at almost same price, and held gold through the entire parabola. 2015 turned gold here. Tiny fake here, otherwise gold through the whole parabola. And if you've been here a couple of years, you've seen this happening in real time. 2019 turned gold at 4,000. Faked blue, but turned gold at almost same price level. How we managed the COVID dip, we documented here on the website in real time, so that's not an after construction. Then it flipped gold again and the party continued, all the way until 65k. And while it seemed reasonable that it would continue here, it didn't. Then we got one more run here, which gave a little bit, but not that much. Right now, the trend is not up. Larsen line is still blue. So based on the trend, we're not there yet. If we now switch to the current chart and look at what is the recent chart pattern, the biggest, most significant chart pattern that we have here is a double top. And a double top confirms only if the lowest point between the tops break down. And it did. So this is a confirmed double top. And the target of a double top pattern is the same height as the pattern, which take us somewhere down here to this 14 or perhaps 13k area. And now we're at 19,318. So based on the most recent chart pattern, the double top target, we're not there yet. If taking the gamble, and I do still have some Bitcoin and Ethereum exposure, I think it's prudent to combine it with an invalidation strategy and try to overlook what risk is really taken here. Because if this support level finally breaks down, it could get pretty violent. It's a 30% drop to 13k, and it's a 50% drop to 10k, and a 75% drop to 5k. But is that even possible? I just said that the previous drops all been maxed out at 85%, which is only until 10,000. Yes, Bitcoin has only ever existed in a bullish economic macro environment. This is the first time in Bitcoin's life that we're in a recession, according to many metrics. And I think Plan B and all the 20-something guys are just too young to understand that there can come periods where the market behaves totally different. So I think it's foolish to bet your entire capital on, say, averaging down in 2 or 3 tranches, because the truth is that we have no idea where the bottom is if this support breaks. This chart here right now, which starts resembling a descending triangle, reminds me of this chart here in 2018, which also became a descending triangle. And what happened that time? Well, we got a pretty dramatic breakdown. Trend was down, Larsen line blue. We had a bearish pattern in the chart, which isn't a pattern until it confirms, but it did confirm. And if we look closely, we see that there was actually possibility to get out the day after the candle had closed below. Not so bad, it was 5,590 here. Only like 10% below the horizontal boundary. So from a TA perspective, the indications are not really supporting an entry here. Retracement hasn't reached as deep as it's done in the past. There's no bottom chart construction. Trend as proxied by Larsen line is still down. The recent major double top pattern hasn't reached its target, and the only thing speaking in favor of a bottom is that the support has held, but even there it didn't hold and bounce. It kind of held and stopped. Then I said we have one fundamental indicator. And what is that? And what's that showing? Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC discount or premium. During the bull market, institutions paid a premium to get Bitcoin exposure through this construction. But today, you can buy Bitcoin exposure at a 34.82% discount. So instead of paying $19,310, they only need to pay $12,586. $12,586. That's down here. Coincidentally, pretty close to the next support level. So why would institutions go buy physical Bitcoin for $19,000 if they can buy this one instead for $12,500 equivalent? Well, there is a counterparty risk and so on, but still, that's a huge difference. The only light in the tunnel is that it was worse a few weeks ago. On October 13th, the discount bottomed out at minus 36.65% versus current minus 34.82. Before we go into the altcoins and fan of the day, what am I doing with Bitcoin now specifically? I want to see almost all of these turn around. I want to see Bitcoin forming a bottom pattern in the chart, revealing that large players are buying. I want to see the trend turning up. I would have liked to see the retracement go deeper first. I want to see the grayscale discount at least solid trending back up towards zero. But what about the altcoins? I usually analyze these versus BTC, but let's focus on capital preservation today and analyze them on the USD chart. Then Ethereum is really hanging on by a thread here. We've had a major retracement, then the decline stopped at this key support level at 1272. And as you see, pretty much like Bitcoin, it has bounced here an insane number of times, but it hasn't broken down. But the trend is down, large line is blue, and it's really a scary position to be in. If this breaks too, that could be a long way down. And while the BNB to BTC chart looks really good, the BNB versus USD looks pretty similar to the other one. Many bounces on the support level with smaller and smaller bounces. Again, drawing descending triangles. Should it confirm, that's pretty bad. Solana to USD. After large line flipped blue here at what was it? 165, 170 something. It's been a rough ride down. SOL just broke one support last week and it's really trying to hang on to this level here. Below this was only wicks. Not looking great. ADA, the theme here has really been descending triangles. Here you have a textbook descending triangle, which confirmed and price has continued down since. Large line flipped blue somewhere here at $2, and from the top to the bottom, retracement has been almost 90%. It's sitting at minus 88% right now. Almost the only chart that looks a little bit different is actually the XRP chart. This one has traditionally not trended very well on the daily candles. And if we look on the 3-day candles, the trend is actually down here as well. But this very key support has recently held. It actually bounced off there about a month ago in mid-September. Unfortunately for XRP fans, it couldn't break out of this range, so it got rejected there. And if we zoom in, we see that very clearly. Still, this is the only one that isn't actually hanging just above a key support, looking over the cliff, where a breakdown seems near and scary. There's also many of you who ask about the SOL token. Again, I don't have any particular insights, I can just look at the chart, and that is actually very clear. And wasn't it interesting how there actually was a discrepancy between everything that was discussed on social media and what actually happened in the chart? The parabolic rise stopped already in January 2021. Large line turned blue in November 2021. This key support broke around that time and the coin went into a clear downtrend, which can only happen if there are large players selling. And it's really my mistake to not trust the chart, which is much better at revealing what's actually going on than social media is. The trend is still down, as we can see here, and we can also see that while price briefly broke through this resistance, it quickly came back below and subsequent wicks have been rejected. So this resistance line here at $2 is really the key level, and there was a clear rejection from that. And price has not done any more attempts since that time in mid-September. Now it's time for Fan of the Day. 3, 2, 1, and the winner is Gizmo. I get notification of a new video by CTO. I go watch and like before watching. I love CTO. Heart emoji. Daniel, it's not a cult or anything. That's a great idea. We should have a cult. Please print my photo in 2 meters by 2 meters and dance around it every morning singing Kumbaya in Swedish accent. That should fix these charts. Remember to subscribe. Thank you, tack. CTO Larsson out. Hej då.